In the fall of 1998, a young man named Daniel Harris moved to the city to begin his first year at university. Like many students, he needed a cheap place to stay. After days of searching, he stumbled upon a small boarding house run by an older landlord. The building was worn, but recently renovated, with fresh paint covering the cracks of age. To Daniel, it felt like the perfect place to start his new life. He arrived late one night just before midnight, his arms heavy with luggage. The landlord, though groggy from being woken, was eager to make a deal. "This room," the man said, pointing to a slightly larger unit at the end of the hall, "is cleaner than the rest. You'll like it." Daniel, tired from travel, agreed immediately. Papers were signed, money exchanged, and the key dropped into his hand. Inside, the room was bare but spotless. The ceiling was freshly painted, the floor polished. There was no furniture except for a single mattress. Daniel lay down, grateful just to rest. As he drifted into sleep, he heard faint drops of water pattering on his face. Groggy, he sat up and looked at the ceiling. It was perfectly dry. Confused, he touched his cheeks. Dry as well. With a shrug, he lay back down. Minutes later, the drops came again. Cold. Damp. They splashed onto his forehead, rolling down his skin. Niel sat up quickly, scanning the ceiling with the dim light of his phone. No cracks, no leaks. The paint was pristine. But something in his chest tightened, as though the water wasn't water at all. He forced himself to laugh, muttering, "You're just tired, just your imagination." The following night, as he scrolled through his phone to chase away sleep, he heard footsteps in the hallway. Slow, deliberate, pacing back and forth. At first, he thought it was another student returning late. But the steps never ended. They passed his door, turned back, passed again, over and over, like someone trapped in a loop. Curiosity gnawed at him. He crept to the window, peeking through the thin curtain. The hallway was brightly lit by fluorescent lights, but it was empty. No figures, no shadows, just the sound of feet echoing against tile. Daniel's breath quickened. His eyes darted side to side, but there was nothing to see. Only that sound, endlessly circling his door. On the third night, Daniel was jolted awake by pressure on his bed, as though someone had sat beside him. He froze, heart hammering. Slowly, he opened his eyes and saw a figure standing at the foot of his mattress, a woman. Her face blurred, her body pale, hair hanging limp around her shoulders. In the dim glow of his nightlight, she shimmered, and then vanished as quickly as she appeared. His fear deepened when the knocking started. First gentle taps at his door, then harder, louder, until fists pounded violently, rattling the frame. "Who is it?" Daniel shouted. Silence followed. Then from the other side, a man's voice. "Open up! I'm from next door." Relieved, Daniel unlatched the door, only to find a group of other tenants staring at him, wide-eyed. They pulled him into the hall. "You saw her, didn't you?" one asked. Daniel stammered. "Saw who?" A tall student with a shaved head leaned close, whispering, "The girl who lived in your room. She never left." And then, piece by piece, they told him the truth. Years earlier, a young woman had lived in that very room with her boyfriend. When he betrayed her for someone else, she begged him to stay. Desperate and broken, she tied a rope to the ceiling fan and hanged herself. The landlord removed the fan, painted the ceiling, scrubbed away the stains. But her spirit remained, restless, clinging to the place of her death. Tenants spoke of eyes, blank and white, staring at them through cracks in the door. They spoke of water dripping onto their faces at night. Water that was not water, but something far worse, trickling from her lifeless body. They spoke of footsteps in the hall, as though she paced endlessly, searching for the one who left her behind. Each story was the same. Each story ended with students fleeing before their lease was through. Daniel left the very next morning, his belongings hastily packed. He told his parents everything, his voice trembling. They wired him money for another room, far from that cursed place. He never set foot there again. This was not rumor, but a true account shared among students who once lived in the city. At True Ghost Encounters, we bring you chilling real stories from around the world. The dead do not always rest. Sometimes they linger, waiting in the places we think are safe. Subscribe now to True Ghost Encounters, because the next room you rent may already be taken.